everyone. Welcome to our sugar shack. Let me give you the tour, and it's a work in progress, so I thought it would be a cool way to share how we're going to process maple syrup come February.
Scrapped in where I needed. What the heck?
Nice.
Then right in the center here will be that piece of that concrete board.
Right, that's where the stove's going.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the entrance right here.
Yeah, and there'll be like a 2 foot by 4 foot deck on the front with a set of stairs.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can set buckets up,
Yeah,
then walk up the stairs and
yeah.
bring the buckets in or whatever.
Up she goes, up, up. That's a girl. So this stove, the barrel stove is what you call it, but just a barrel we got from Facebook Marketplace. Then we bought the door and the collar from Amazon. It's a package, a barrel stove kit package. He's gonna build a wall up to here, and then on this side of the wall he'll attach concrete board. So then that wall is going to be up high enough to set the evaporator on. And so what we do is we'll bring in the maple sap, which is mostly water, and then we put it in the evaporator to cook down to a certain sugar percentage, so it's like a light amber. And then that gets transferred. So there'll be a little shelf down here. That'll be transferred to the finishing stock pot. And then we'll bring that finishing stock pot over to here, to the burners here. and we'll finish the syrup here. And then we'll come over here. And he built shelves for all of our supplies. But this is going to be the area where we're going to take the syrup, the finished syrup, and we have to filter it. And then once it's filtered, then it's ready to bottle. So then it goes over to here, and this will be the bottling station. Bottling and labeling. And then all of the finished product will go up here. So in February, look forward to a video on the process of creating the maple syrup, and that will be a finished product ready to sell on my YouTube site. And I'm not sure if I'll have a website by then, but there'll be a way for you to show your interest in purchasing maple syrup from Maine, and I can ship it to you. So I'm going to take you out to the woods, and I'm going to show you in general the trees that we're going to tap. We're going to tap 100 trees, and this will be the first year that we've tapped this many, and that I will be using a different technique for collecting the sap. So, and it's every year is different. It depends on the temperature, and it depends on the amount of snow. So that all depends, that all of those variables make a difference in the quality of the sap and the quantity of the sap. So it's kind of an interesting science. But come on out to the woods with me, and I'll show you the trees that we're going to tap. This is the fuel that we're going to use to cook down the sap into syrup. And there's a reason why it's this long, and most of it is the dimension that it is, because it has to burn at a steady rate to keep the sap boiling at the right temperature. And this is almost 2 cord of wood. All right, so this is one of the first clusters of maples that we're going to tap. And then there's a second cluster here, and then a large maple down here. So, and you've got a picture that this may be covered with lots of snow. So what I plan to do is make snowshoe trails to each location. It's still a ton of work, but one way to make it easier is I'm going to take and put the taps here, and then there's tubing that you can use to attach one cluster of trees to the next cluster of trees, and then you make one location for draining the sap. So say you have a cluster of 4 trees together, you connect them all with tubing and then have one drainage point. And then down in that area there, there's another 4. Any of the trees that are marked, those are the maples. And then we didn't mark all of them because the ones that are easy to access that we know of course we don't have to mark them. But we're going to tap this one and this one. You see we've already tapped, and there's the tapping hole. But you don't tap in the original hole. You have to go around the tree in either go down in a spiral or go up in a spiral. This area here has quite a few maples that we're going to tap, about 10 or 15. You can see back there there's a marked tree. And all this area here he cleared. This used to be solid trees. So the plan would be to make the snowshoe trail here. That cluster of trees over there I will connect with tubing, so it'll be easier to drain. And then like this one here, that'll be a single tap. And then all the way in here, you can see the trees that are marked. Well, there's, I don't know, a good 20 or so. But like last year, we didn't have to bother with that because we didn't get any snow in February, and it was an easy task to get through the woods and get the sap. But if you can picture it, you know, you're gathering gallons sap. What you see, baby? She just flushed out 2 grouse. Should have kept the camera on. Well, it's hunting season here in Maine, and Lacey just found a track, but it sure does remind me of a moose track. As you see, the moose? Is it a critter? Is it a critter? See, there's the toe. Here's the toes, right there, and there's the heel. That's a pretty good size track. I'm guessing that's moose. Is it a critter, Lacey? Right in here is the rest of the maple grove. There's about 20 trees that we're going to tap. Some of those trees give us about a gallon per day, and then others don't give us that much. But I'll be tying some of them together, like I said, to make it easier. And he's got a path cleared pretty well, and I'll make my snowshoe tracks through that to each tree. And I'll show you the maple syrup that we harvested last year. We got 5 gallons, so that was pretty good. Anyway, it'll be fun. And it's a great way to get outdoors in February and get exercise after being trapped indoors for the whole month of January. And so depending on the weather, it could be the 1st of February or all the way to the end of February. It used to be here, tapping season wasn't until the last week of March. For the last 4 years, it's been steadily moving up about a week because of the warmer weather. So, yeah. Anyway, that's about it. And thanks for joining me today. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.